Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
And this morning, we're going to talk about email and growing your email list.
Yes, I think the first question I think about is that's a email that's still around? I mean, we all know it's still around, but does email marketing really work?
Oh, my goodness, yes. Now, I get it. I'm a little bit old school, but I'm also a firm believer in the numbers. And here's the thing number one, 90% of people open email every day. Every day. And so you, by sending your email, have an opportunity to get in front of your customers every single day. And the second piece of it, and I know we get a lot of email, blah, 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 but if you send good email, an offer sent in email versus posted on social media, you'll have a 3 times higher conversion rate with email than social media. And a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with the fact that you have their undivided attention.
Yep. Yep. Everybody's paying attention to what is in their email box for sure. I mean, but I think the challenge though, what we wanted to really talk about today is how do I build that email list? What's some kind of expectations on how fast you can build it, quality over quantity, and all that
Mhm.
fun stuff.
So, there are a lot of ways to build your list, and depending on the kind of business you're in. One thing is really old school, get out in person and actually meet people. But as you're collecting business cards, don't just put everybody on your list because that annoys people. But
Yeah.
when you meet someone and you get their card, it's perfectly appropriate to say, "Hey, I have a newsletter. May I put you on my list?"
Yeah.
And that's one great way to do it.
Yep.
But then the other thing is you can build offers onto your website, and I know that's something you love doing.
Yeah, I think too also, like, if you do build off of a sales, it would be wise to maybe, make it if you don't have the opportunity to ask them right there in person, maybe you have an automation where they get added to that list and an email comes out, "Hey, I know we recently met. I'd love to add you to my newsletter. It's just some content, blah, blah, you gotta obviously sell it." And I'm not really selling it right now, but it not be annoying in there.
Right, and give them and basically, they have to then opt in. If you'd like to receive more, let me know. If you don't wanna receive any more, you please tell me and I'll take you right off the list. One email like that is perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
But don't send 5 or 6 before you give them a chance to opt out because, oh, no, people will stop talking to you in person. "Oh, don't
Yeah.
talk to her because she's gonna put you on her list and you'll never get rid of her." No, you don't wanna
Yep.
be that person. And at the end of this, we're gonna talk a little bit, if we have time, about list hygiene,
Yeah.
the best way to build your list is creating something on your website that people are like, "Ooh, I want that." And all you're asking them to do is to trade their email address for the content.
Yes. Yes. It's gotta be, this is the trick part is coming up with a piece of content that is of value, and that's going to take you some time in order to make something that is of time and of value and create that so that
Mhm.
okay, yeah, I'll give up my email for that.
Absolutely. And the trick is it doesn't have to be very long. I've seen people who are like, "Sign up now for our free 30-part class." No. No, 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 don't number 1, don't give away the whole farm.
Yes.
Number 2, It's all about immediate gratification. Most people download things, subscribe to things, and then after the third, whatever, they forget.
Yeah.
And so, what you want to do is get people, get their email address, get them into some sort of automated stream. And then, as you see who's interested and who's not,
Yeah.
now you send only the interested people more.
Yeah. One we have on our website is, do you need a new digital marketing agency? And it's a quiz.
Quizzes are wonderful.
Yeah, and, obviously, in order to get the people, I'm asking people questions, and in order to get the content, as to what my answers would be to that, they have to give their email address, and I think that works really well too.
One of the things I really love about a quiz is depending on how you structure it, not only do people get excited about it, they want to know how they score, they want to know how they rank against other companies. And so they give you information, but then you get an email, you get their email address, and you get information.
Yeah,
You know that this company is working with a big agency, working with a small agency, hasn't ever done this before,
yeah,
is just starting out. So now you can put them on a different list. You can follow up with a real phone call if they've given you their phone number, but you're prepared for that conversation.
I think it really helps way up in the funnel to build an email list because you're
Mhm.
asking some of those basic questions. We have done it with a client recently where it's, should I do this? And, here are the questions that you might go through. And then
Mhm.
they've already got the answers when you fill it. So I think it builds that email for the long term.
It builds the email and it also um, one of the things that I know, because I do this with a lot of our downloads, is 24 hours after you download something on some of my offers, you get an email that says, "Hey, yesterday you downloaded this. I'd
Yeah.
love to know what you think." And
Mm.
there's like four little boxes. Loved it. It was exactly what I thought. It was too much, too little. Haven't opened it. Don't remember downloading. 24 hours, okay? And you would be surprised. People don't remember downloading.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, "Yeah, I got it, but I haven't really looked at it." And you're like, "Oh my God. You went to all this trouble to get this." And so when you can engage them, when you can engage prospects in that upfront, like with a quiz, um, it's a great way to get them really interested and committed to the information. But quizzes take a lot of time, and not everything in your funnel needs to be time consuming.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did for one of our clients that was the most effective email list building tool I have ever done. Can sound silly. It was for Randall Beans, and they sold beans in glass jars, and we would write blog posts that were just recipes, and we
Okay.
published recipe collections. Now,
Yeah.
all of the blogs were on their website.
Yeah.
You
I was gonna
didn't
ask I was gonna ask, I've done that too, just because you need it in order to get on an email list, that doesn't mean you can't also put it on your website available.
all yep, all the individual blogs were there. What people were downloading was the convenience of the PDF.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm going to give you some numbers because it's kind of staggering. We took their email list from 250 to over 10,000
Nice. Nice.
just with
The existing.
recipes.
So a similar situation, took it a step further and actually ran ads, so form type ads that show up in the feed, and you don't have to leave Facebook, and you can fill it out right then and there. And we were also giving recipes, and it was for a bed and breakfast in California,
Mhm.
and we built that list too really quickly. It was, I mean, I wanna say we were only spending $300 a month on Google
Wow.
Ads to build a list, and we were
Mhm.
adding 100 to 200 a month, like,
Mhm.
because people
Yeah.
wanted the hippies.
Absolutely. And, that's the whole thing, is that what you're offering has to be relevant. It has to be relevant to your customers. It has to be a good fit with everything else that you do.
Yeah.
And two things I want to make sure we hit before we wrap up today, because I can talk about email like, oh, I don't know, forever. But one is, once you get somebody, you got to have a series of emails that engage them and bring them into your community so that they're excited. And you can't wait. You can't wait for, oh, they'll get my next newsletter 3 weeks from now. No, they won't remember you.
True. I do have to ask. So I recently came up last 6 months of a software, and they've somehow figured out how to make it legal. And it's a script that goes on your website, and it's scraping for emails and adding them to lists. Have you seen this? What's your
Uh,
thoughts on that?
to me, that's one step above buying lists. It's better because it is a little more qualified.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: people get email and they open their email every single day, right? They get so much email that they unsubscribe from things every single day.
Yeah.
So I have, and I've tracked this. Like, I'll grab a list of people, maybe people that I'm connected to on LinkedIn, and I'll put them in my email list just to see what happens. And the truth is that if you're not connected with them, if they haven't given you their contact info, they won't open your email. They'll unsubscribe at a really high rate. And so what you're doing is you're artificially inflating your list with people who really aren't interested. And you're missing the opportunity to send really targeted messages to people who care. Um,
I was gonna
yeah.
say, what happens when you have a high unsubscribed rate?
When you have a high unsubscribe rate, some of the major MailChimp, Constant Contact, Aweber, the reputable email companies, depending on how high your unsubscribe rate goes, they may shut down a list or they may shut you down completely. I've had clients who have bought lists
Yep.
and dumped it into their main list without talking to me. And then MailChimp says, I'm sorry, you had so many unsubscribes and so many bad email addresses in this list. We know that this is not permission based.
Yeah.
You can send email from our server, but you can no longer use any of the emails on the list. And so by taking those bad emails, dumping them into a good list, they lost all their good contacts as well.
And sometimes they're sending obviously from their own domain, and so now your domain could be blocked, and so that
Mhm,
is a risk that, you can play.
mhm.
I
I
know one
I
thing, I'm tired of getting, I can get you 67 leads in the next da, 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 like, I delete 10 of those a day.
Oh, absolutely. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna put a pin in it here. We may come back and revisit some of these other topics, but hopefully you're gonna put in a plan to start building your email list today.
Alright, take care. Bye.
Bye now.